Evolution. Boy, that is one scary E word. The year is 2011, the 21st century, yet there are so many of us that are truly scared to formulate ideas, thoughts that may seem counter to traditional thinking. Let me suggest that the world is round, and people no longer get their heads chopped off for thinking so. Surgery is performed each and every day, and is no longer thought of as a violation of God. If there was no such thing as evolution, we would still be living in a cave, don't you think? After all, the earth revolves around the sun, and no one will get burned at the stake for knowing that. The earth is not the center of the universe. At one time, such beliefs would cause your death. Here's a thought. Has religion evolved? And if it has evolved, does that mean that it was never absolute after all? What does infallible mean? If your religious beliefs suggest that thou shalt not kill, why is it acceptable to kill in the name of the state and governments? I mention that because today I told a lady that my belief is that God is simply a generic term for all knowledge, and she thought I was crazy. So she started to quote the Bible, and I started to quote Omar Khayyam's Rubaiyat. They're both books. Anyway, if you're supposed to forgive 70 times 7, why is revenge such an intricate part of our society? If equality, justice, and freedom for all is supposed to be our mantra, why then, in the year 2011, our laws are so anti-poor and minorities? Why is justice overshadowed by bad laws? And look, women are not witches, and their monthly periods are natural, and they should not be shunned, as suggested by that book. Nor should a woman be burned at the stake for entertaining individual and provocative thoughts. They're not witches, Nor are women the property of men. See, these are all thoughts that have evolved over time. Slavery is wrong, and had not Paul endorsed slavery, meaning Christianity given their tacit support, it may have ended many, many years before. How many thousands of indigenous people have been slaughtered because they have no soul, and to believe otherwise would have been considered heresy? The year is 2011, and yet we are still scared to admit that the earth and everything on earth is evolving. These flowers are evolving, so much so that their very existence is predicated upon interspecies sex pollination. But in the year 2011, we're still scared to tackle all the nonsense that are supposed to be sacred. What we can do is to evaluate what we really believe and stop endorsing atrocities for fear of heresy. If all living things on earth are evolving, isn't it not logical to assume that we, people, are also evolving? There was a great modern mind, the late Charles Fillmore. He said, evolution, the development achieved by man working under spiritual law. It is the result of the development of ideas in mind. What we are is a result of evolution of our consciousness, and this consciousness is the result to seed ideas sown in the mind. In the beginning, God implanted His perfect word, evolved His seed word into each man. Evolution is the unfolding of consciousness of that which God evolved in man in the beginning. Now there's food for thought. Now have a drink and think about this. Who or what is God? What exactly is consciousness? What is mind? And I'm not talking about the brain. And are you a temporary physical being created by an arbitrary God? After all, we're not born equal with the same opportunities and abilities. So how fair is that? Or are we, in fact, a permanent spiritual being occupying a temporary physical body, evolving with each birth? Evolution. Now that is one scary word. What? Evolution? Okay. Educate me with your comments.